The show goes on, ladies and gentlemen. You might notice that this episode of The B Team sounds and looks different. Obviously, we are a little less robust in the build, but we're also a little less robust in the dialect and vocabulary. If you haven't figured it out by now, Mr. Ryan Brauninger is not in the studio today. He is out in Utah doing some work. He's not on vacation. He's out there to check in on 2026 Texas A&M quarterback commit Helaman Kasuga, who plays for, I believe that's Corner Canyon High School in Draper, Utah. So we'll have some recruiting content on TexAgs.com for our premium subscribers a little bit later in the week. Filling in his chair and serving as today's co-host, making his B-Team debut. You know him as Bucky McMillan's hype man, formerly Buzz Williams' hype man, the propagandist of Pack Reed propaganda, Mr. Luke Evangelist. His official title is TexAgs Content Specialist and Basketball Analyst. Good morning, Mr. Evangelist. Your mustache is looking rather bushy today.
Thank you, Richard, for that compliment and that wonderful introduction. I know how long that must have taken you to practice that in the mirror this morning.
Can you believe it? I didn't practice anything. It's just kind of a stream of consciousness. Now, to be fair, this is a stream of consciousness show.
Right.
So we do our best when, we kind of get off script and off the rundown. After all, this is not TexAgs Live. You're not going to hear us break down plays. You're not going to hear us break down play calls. You're not going to hear us break down the schedules at all. You're just going to hear us talk. And that's what it's meant to be. How's it feel to be making your B-Team debut and to actually serve as you're technically the second B-Team co-host because Billy Lucci made like a 20-minute pit stop a couple weeks ago.
I'm fine being on the C team because you know what? It means I'm on the team. That's kind of the mindset I had when I played high school sports.
But here's the deal. When I was playing middle schools, back when you had the A, B, and C teams, were you really on the team if you were on the C team? Because I was on the C team. I was on A team. I don't know if we were on the team. We were on a team.
But you were on a team.
Yeah, that's the way you should say it, though. You should say we're on a team, not the team.
Correct. This is the same mindset that I think a lot of fans have when watching NCAA sports. They're like, why should we care what St. Thomas does? Or why should we care about what High Point does? You know what? Those are still teams, too. They may not be the A team. They may not be the B team, but they are a team.
Do you care what Slippery Rock University does every Saturday?
I didn't even... Is that a real university?
Yeah, so time out. Your mom went to what university?
Michigan.
There's a bit at Michigan Stadium. They announce out-of-town scores, and they always include the scores from Slippery Rock because back in the 50s or whatever when this tradition started, they just thought the school sounded funny. So it's like an actual bit, it's like a Division III school, and the bit became so popular that they once brought Slippery Rock to Michigan Stadium to play a D3 game in Ann Arbor.
Unbelievable. I did not know that.
No, you learned something new.
Yeah,
it's not Wednesday. You're not tuning into a We Learned Wednesday edition of the B Team, but Luke Evangelist, you just got edumacated, my friend.
Our Thursday is Tuesday Top 5 Tuesday?
Tuesday's Top 5 Tuesday. Wednesday's We Learned Wednesday or Wisdom Wednesday. Thursday, Bronny has dubbed it Thunderdome Thursday. Full disclosure, today's host did not plan a challenge. We ate hot chicken. We drank a gallon of water. We don't have anything planned this week. Part of that is because I've got to run out of here a little bit earlier. Texas A&M volleyball is playing their home opener, a 6 o'clock first serve against Southeastern Louisiana. I've got an intern of mine covering their first home game tonight, so I've got to run over there and be in support. And College Station traffic around 5:30. It might take me 45 minutes to get over to, what is that, 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah.
So for the last 15 minutes of the show, it's going to be Luke Evangelist and Cade Bickham getting you home. Good afternoon, Mr. Bickham. How are we?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. We'll take you home. Richard will be gone, but we'll take you home.
So we will get into the news of the day in this show. There was some news yesterday about spring transfer portal going away effective immediately. I know the Southeastern Conference, it was reported earlier today that Tuesday is going to be the day we learn the 9 opponents on the 2026 schedule and also the 3 permanent rivals that all 16 Southeastern Conference teams will have beginning in 2026 and moving forward, at least on the football side of things. We'll get into that. To Luke's chagrin, is chagrin is that a positive or a negative? I can't figure it out.
If I knew how to spell
negative,
it,
okay, so to Luke's chagrin and to Cade Bickham's delight, we'll probably talk a little bit about the Silver Boot, which was decided last night, and we'll also do some game picks on our bye week. But to be completely honest with you, Luke, I set up a rundown, and as you said so gleefully when you walked back into the studio after hanging out outside of the office earlier today, you said, well, I know what we're talking about, and it is the news of the day, at least in my world, and I will try to keep it short, at least hopefully less than 20 minutes. Clayton Kershaw, a Dodger legend, he is going to announce later today, I imagine, a press conference at Dodger Stadium that he will retire at season's end. 3-time National League Cy Young Award winner, 2014 National League MVP, 11-time All-Star. He's going to make his final start at Dodger Stadium on Friday against the San Francisco Giants, the hated San Francisco Giants. 9:10 p.m. Central Time. That game's going to be broadcasted on Apple TV+. And before you tune out, it is Aggie related because Luke, Cade, I don't know if you guys knew this. He was part of Rob Childress's first signing class at Texas A&M.
I knew that.
Obviously, he did not make it to campus, drafted 7th overall, and then a big leaguer in 2008. He spent his entire career there, so it's his 18th season with the Dodgers. And quite honestly, it's sad news for me. He is my favorite athlete, my favorite player, my favorite Dodger of all time. So to hear the news you kind of expected was coming hurts, sad, but there's definitely going to be a time for reflection and appreciation. Obviously, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He'll probably be damn near close to unanimous once the ballot rolls around in 5 years. There's only been one unanimous Hall of Famer. His name's Mariano Rivera. Not sure if you knew that, Luke Evangelist.
I did not know that.
Not even Derek Jeter. He wasn't even a unanimous Hall of Famer. So, sad news, man. My dad and I, back in July, the beginning of July, made a roundabout, like we were gone and out of the state of Texas for fewer than 24 hours to see him get to his 3,000th strikeout July 2nd against the Chicago White Sox. That's going to end up being my last chance, my last time I will ever see Clayton Kershaw pitch. The first time I ever saw him pitch was in the 2015 Major League Baseball All-Star Game in Cincinnati. The cool thing about that is Sandy Koufax, another Dodger legend, one of your favorite baseball players, Luke.
One of our favorite.
Yeah, one of ours.
Players.
Part of our community, a tribe member, Sandy Koufax, threw out the first pitch. So I think I can say I'm one of the few that has ever seen Koufax and Kershaw throw on the same day. Just a lot of really, really cool memories watching him on TV. Being there when he won his first world championship in 2020, got to see him start Game 1 and Game 5 of that World Series. He was victorious in both of them. I know there's a lot of detractors for Kershaw saying that he couldn't get it done in the postseason, but he's got 2 rings. He's an all-time legend. He's a Dodger legend for my money, and of course I'm biased. It's a recency bias. It's the only guy I've ever seen pitch because I didn't grow up with Koufax and Drysdale. Certainly didn't see Jackie Robinson or Pee Wee Reese or Duke Snider. For my money, he's the greatest Dodger of all time. And to see him announce his retirement, kind of an end of an era. It's almost like my childhood's ending. Luke, you made a great comparison, at least I thought. You asked if this is like what the feelings I'm having now are similar to what you felt when Dirk Nowitzki retired. Mm-hmm. And I said it's very, very similar to those of us who grew up in DFW and were coherent when Dirk made his start. Like, I can remember my first memory of Clayton Kershaw was a game on MLB Network. It might have been 2009. And my dad being like, this kid is going to be really, really good. So it's like watching him throughout his entire career and then watching him hang it up.
Yeah, I think I was by the time I was conscious, Dirk was already a star. But I think I see it in the exact same point of view that you have of this is like the best player on your favorite team in your favorite uniform, your favorite sport that you grew up watching that has like totally shaped your childhood. So while I didn't get to watch Dirk for as long as you have with Kershaw, I still feel like the exact feeling that I think you are feeling right now of like, man, this is sad and that you're not going to get to see them again. And what I think a lot of people are going to feel when LeBron retires if Nico Harrison didn't rob me of this when Luka would have retired.
Sure.
I think it's the end of an era for a lot of athletes that people in our generation grew up watching in the same way that our parents would feel when Michael Jordan retired.
I'll make a comparison, and Cade, I'm going to bring you in on this conversation just a bit because I want to know what athletes you watched as a kid that their retirement kind of hit you a little bit closer. But Luke, you're a hockey guy, right? It's essentially what the city of Pittsburgh is going to feel when Sidney Crosby hangs up the skates for the final time. Because he's an all-time legend, one of the greatest, hands down. Clayton Kershaw is on the inner circle of all-time Hall of Famers when it comes to pitching. Just like Sidney Crosby will be on the all-time inner circle when it comes to hockey. Mm-hmm. When he hangs him up, he's only played with one team his entire career. That says something. That says something for legacy. It's an era where players have more freedom to move around in their respective sports than ever before, and to have the few to stick around and play in one uniform. Hey, guys, I'll go even further to keep it closer to home, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. It's going to be exactly what the city of Houston feels in a couple years when Jose Altuve, by all accounts, one of the greatest Astros of all time, don't think he's ever going to don another Major League uniform. It's going to be very similar to when he hangs it up.
That's who
Craig
I was going to
Biggio,
bring up.
Same one.
I was going to bring up Altuve. Yeah. Like for me, like that's who it'll be. Is when Altuve retires, I will be devastated. It will be a sad day. Bronny said in the chat, he said Playboy Cardi's retirement is going to devastate Bickham.
That is true, dude. Or what was it, Young Nudie?
Yeah,
Lil
or
Nudie?
one of them. Yeah, it'll devastate me either way. Yeah.
Chat, if you're tuning into the show and it looks like the chat's being dominated by Brawny, says Altuve's going to play until he's 50. Also says that Luke doesn't fill the chair. That's true.
No, he said Luke doesn't fill the chair.
Yeah.
He pressed enter
that's
too
a
early.
fat finger extra return, errant return.
He filled his keyboard a little bit too much.
Chad, if you're listening, just want to know your favorite athletes, how you felt when they retired. It's a bittersweet day. We'll move on from this topic.
Ooh. Hold on, I have another one. I'll feel the same way. Even though he didn't play with the Broncos his whole career, Von Miller, I'll feel the exact same way when Von Miller retires.
I'll say this, right? And there were a couple of times where it was sketchy, and he was up for free agency and actually tested the waters of free agency. Callie Gardner sitting off camera. Her Texas Rangers came after him a couple times. I'm so glad that I didn't have to experience what you had to experience with Von Miller, Cade, in which he left your team, left the team that he's most known for, and has gone and played in another uniform, and it hasn't looked all that correct. You know what I mean?
It definitely hasn't looked right, but I was really happy for him that when he left that year that he actually got the ring, like that made it a little bit worth it in my eyes, at least, because that was the Broncos since up until last year, since Peyton Manning left after the Super Bowl win, were an atrocious team, atrociously run franchise in general. The offense was garbage. The defense was usually good, ish, and Von Miller was good. But I totally got him leaving that year. I mean, he wanted one more chance at a ring, and he's on the Commanders now. They could, do something this year, but yeah.
It's a good pull, kid. It's a good pull. With that, I'm going to go ahead and stop boring everybody. I know you guys don't want to talk about the Dodgers. I know you guys don't really care about Clayton Kershaw. Some news I saw yesterday that was very, very interesting. I think a lot of people in college sports thinking it's an interesting one is the NCAA has put an end to the spring transfer portal window. There will still be that winter January window where most of the action gets done, but now it's just one chance to move freely about the country. Luke, your thoughts on that news?
Dare I say the NCAA has done two good things in a row now?
What's the first one?
They shouldn't even have had to make this decision, but they voted not to expand the NCAA tournament for basketball this season. However, I'm sure they will discuss it next year, and it'll probably get pushed through before 2030. But they made the right decision this year, voted not to expand. And now, in a time where you don't know who is on your roster the moment your season ends, because you've got to have those exit meetings of who wants more money, who wants to stay, who wants to go, all of that comes with the NIL era. Oh, and then, by the way, you got to do it again in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then, by the way, if your coach gets fired, it's now open season. You've got Virginia Tech and you've got UCLA players who could redshirt because they haven't even played 4 games yet and go sit out. You could theoretically, Nico Iamaleava could transfer to Texas, sit out the rest of this year, redshirt, and start next year. Like, how crazy is that? He was in LA for what, 6 months, 4 months? It's just unbelievable what college sports has become. And when you look at in terms of college basketball, there really is only time for one portal window because the season is so long that it takes up so much of the calendar. But football, because you have spring football and guys are like, I don't like where I'm at on the depth chart, I'm going to find somewhere else. It's just ridiculous how you got to pick. It's
almost like that 30-day free trial, right? Like you transfer in January, you go through spring ball, you get 15 practices under your belt, and then you're like, this coaching staff ain't right for me. I'm going to go back into the portal, right? That doesn't really sit right for me. I think that players, and I agree that they should have the freedom to move, right? You shouldn't have to be in one place the entire 4 years, and they have more freedom and more benefits now than they ever have. But I think if you go to a place and you commit to a place in January, and I know it is a very, very quick process, right? You go into the portal and you essentially make 1 or 2 visits and you're there. You're there at your new school. And it may or may not be a place that recruited you out of high school, so you may or may not be familiar with the campus, the college town. The coaching staff might have changed since you were a high school commit. It's quick decisions by kids, because they are still kids. They're college kids. They're 18 to 22-year-olds. But I also like that they are going to have to stick stuff out, right? Yeah. Like, you're going to have to tough it out, right? You deal with the consequences of your decisions, or you learn to make the best of your situation and your environment. You learn to adapt. You learn to excel. And if it's truly not the place for you, if the school you pick in 1 January is not the place for you, go back in the portal. No hard feelings, but at least to your credit, you tried. I think that's good. I think that is a good precedent the NCAA is starting to set.
Yeah, and if you know anything about the NCAA, if you had 2 portal windows now of fall and spring, somebody was going to be advocating for why don't we have a third. And so I think it's good to shut this down right now. And it's, look, there's one time you're either in or you're out. You assess what your current status is on that roster. Maybe you think you're worth more. Maybe you want to test the waters. But to have to try and retain, I can't even imagine what coaches have to go through now. No wonder Saban didn't want any part of what this has become. Of you finish the season, okay, I've had my exit meetings. I think I've got an idea of who's on my roster. And then you got to do it again a couple months later of how can I keep players on my roster to make sure nobody leaves to go to maybe not a conference rival in the spring, but just another team, another contender. It's just ridiculous. And I think this is probably what needed to happen sooner or later before this got out of hand. And there weren't just windows. You could just transfer whenever.
Cade, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like that they just went down to the 1 window. I think the 2 was unnecessary, and also it just made for too much movement. And also thinking about how NIL is working now, if they start doing contracts like how I think they might start doing them, where you're trying to like you're recruiting a player and you're trying to sign them to like a 2-year NIL deal, then having just one window is beneficial from that standpoint as well. Just because it means that they have to at least try to stay within like that contract, and it also probably means that more people will stay at the school they chose for longer.
As we wrap up this topic, I thought it would be kind of fun to look back at the 3 previous spring transfer portal windows, who Texas A&M got, and see if you two can guess what position they played and where they came from. So I'll go back to 2023, the spring transfer portal. Texas A&M brought in 7 commitments in 2023. We will begin with Jerry Johnson III,
linebacker from Rice,
committed to Texas A&M on April 16th, 2023. Cade, you got a guess?
Linebacker sounds right, but I don't know from what school. That was my birthday, though.
Fullback from Rice. You were close, Evangelist. Good job. Next one, Josh DeBerry.
Oh, how could I ever forget Josh DeBerry?
Cornerback from North Carolina.
No, he was
cornerback from Boston College.
Yes, Boston College.
There was a different cornerback.
I remember
from North
that
Carolina.
Alabama game. That would be Tony Grimes.
Yeah.
That Alabama game of Josh DeBerry is something me and my friend group still talk about to this day, in reference to A&M defensive backs being put all over a highlight reel. And I will say that I will not mention specific people in this friend group, but they were giving Des Ricks the Josh DeBerry treatment preseason, saying just horrible things about Des Ricks, and a lot of them have been forced to eat those words because of his play so far. And let's hope you never have to even think a player will be getting Josh DeBerry treatment in the future of this secondary.
Next one, Juriente Davis.
He came from Jackson State. Is that Coach Prime? He came from Jackson State and something in the front 7, maybe linebacker.
Cade, you got a guess?
I was going to say linebacker, and I this is wrong, but it felt like Mississippi State, but I think that's wrong.
Evangelist was right. Luke, no offense to you, Cade, but I think Luke's going to do a little bit better in this.
No, I agree.
But and to your defense, Cade Bickham, if somebody were putting me on the spot like this, I wouldn't do well, even though I definitely edited and pushed the button to activate pretty much all of these stories. I've completely forgotten these names.
Credit to Ryan Brauninger and the recruiting team's coverage as to why I know who any of these people are.
Well, credit to Jason Howe's coverage, at least early on. At least that's what the bylines say. Next one, this one should be an easy one. I'll go ahead and let Mr. Bickham guess first. Jalen Henderson.
Oh, yeah. Jalen Henderson, quarterback, and it was, New Mexico something? No, that's wrong. It's, Luke do it.
Help
let
him
Luke
out with
do
the
it.
school,
Yeah,
kid.
help me with the school, please.
Fresno State.
Fresno State.
He came with Trey
Thank you.
Watson.
Yes, okay.
Luke, not surprisingly good at this. All right, next one, David Bailey.
Who?
David Bailey?
David Bailey committed to Texas A&M on May 8th, 2023 out of the transfer portal.
You stumped me. David Bailey.
Anybody have a guess?
Can we get a position?
Well, actually, give us school instead.
No, I'm not going to. I will give you the school, Cade Bickham. Colorado State.
Oh.
Your home state.
Oh! I got the position. What
is it?
Running back.
Yes. Next one, position should be an easy one. Jade All-Day Walker.
Yeah, wide receiver.
Okay.
It was
Luke, do you have this?
Luke,
Grand Valley State.
Luke's got it.
D2.
Last one in 2023, committed to the Ags on May 17th, 2023. Finn Durston.
He was an offensive lineman. Gosh, where was he from? Where was Finn Durston from? No idea, but I'm pretty sure he was an offensive lineman.
I was gonna guess offensive line as well. Maybe it also wide receiver came to mind for some reason, but
Y'all are correct. He is an offensive lineman.
Can we get a conference?
Yeah, give me not conference. Give me a region.
I'm gonna give you a conference,
Why?
Cade. Like if I give you a region, it should make it insanely easy.
Okay,
The conference
then
is
fine.
the ACC.
Finn Durston. Did he come from Boston College
He
too?
did.
Yeah.
Luke
Wow.
Evangelist, really, really good at this game. I like it.
Thank you.
It's also not that much of a surprise because you're a you're a nut. You're a nut. Like you are. If you weren't working at TexAgs, you would be the center of the TexAgs target audience.
Yeah,
Like you would be the biggest poster on the play. You would be good poster.
probably.
You would be the good poster. All right, moving on. That was it for 2023. 7 commits in 2023 to 4 in 2024. The first one coming on April the 8th, 2024. Joshua Salazar.
Kicker?
No.
He would be the
No?
biggest kicker in the world.
Oh,
D
yeah.
lineman from UCF. He's now at USF.
Correct. Luke Evangelist again, just putting Cade Bickham to
I'm just
Yeah,
putting him in a
putting-
locker.
You honestly don't even come to me
Luke's
anymore.
putting
Just
you
let-
in a
just let-
locker the
just let
same
him
way
talk.
Brandon Walker put him in a locker yesterday. Have you been let out? Like, have you been let out?
I'm
I
here.
think the lights were turned off while you still were in the locker and the janitors locked up for the night. Moving on. Next one. Everybody should get this. If you do not, you are in trouble, and I will have to talk to Billy about having you turn in your key cards, okay? Kolinu'u Fia'u.
Center, Utah.
Bang.
Bang. Good job, Cade Bickham. You get to stick around.
Yeah, I was on his Instagram earlier today. I don't know why. It
What
kinda
time
came
pause?
up. I was on Coley's Instagram.
You were
He got
scrolling.
engaged. Well,
Oh.
it came up in my suggested.
Congratulations. That's awesome. You
I don't
got
know when it
engaged
was,
when, or-
but sometime since he was born. Like he got it's on his Instagram.
sometime since
I
he
don't
was born.
remember the date on the post, but like he got engaged. So
Sometime
congratulations,
since he was
Coley,
born.
to you and your fiance. Whenever it happened, I don't know exactly when, but congratulations.
Congratulations to Coley on his engagement, and we're gonna move on with our game. Solomon DeShields.
Go ahead, Cade.
Well, I know he's a linebacker, and I want to say he came from a school with. Oh man, is it Samford?
Nope.
No.
No,
He is not part of Buckyball.
However, here's a hint for you. A basketball coach that came from Samford is about to play Solomon DeShields' former school in basketball.
Wait, is that part of the
That's part of the non-conference basketball schedule, Cade. So that should narrow it down.
God. Oh, Pitt.
Bang! Let's
Good
go.
job, Cade. Last one is Shane Calhoun.
Tight end. You got the school, Luke.
East Carolina.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Before we move on to 2025, you guys have any idea how many spring
0.
portal commits they got?
Oh wait,
They just.
I'm pretty sure it was 0, right?
Luke's too good at this game,
Oh.
man. Luke's too good at this game.
yeah.
Anyways, I thought that would be a fun little way for us to bid farewell
That was fun.
to the
That was
spring
fun.
transfer portal window. Cade, if this were a Thunderdome Thursday
Oh, it
and
would've been
that
so
this was
bad.
dependent
I-
on your ability to know where the kids are from, you, my friend, would be eating the hottest flavor of hot chicken
Yeah,
or whatever.
it would have been
So,
bad. I felt pretty comfortable about all the positions, other than a few of the names that I just didn't remember at all. But the schools, props to Luke for remembering that. His mind is clearly a steel trap. So
Now it's all coming back to you now, right? Like, and after you've heard all those names, it's just the memories of Jalen Henderson are just ripe
yeah.
in your brain.
Wait, was it David Bailey or Davis Bailey? Because I have a
David
friend
Bailey.
named Davis Bailey.
It was David
That's what I thought
Bailey.
you were saying. Yeah, no, that was a tough one. But that was an Audazio guy, right? Like he
Yeah,
was
what's
at-
better than this? Guys being dudes.
Yeah.
when I said Salazar, which kicker in the country, his last name is Salazar? Why was I thinking that? Is it the kid for?
We're all-inning right now. We're
We're
doing,
not doing this. We're not.
Okay,
we're not.
yeah.
Asking
Hold on, wait.
questions.
Kate actually got it right though. There is. Wait, hold on. Wow, there's actually a lot. Are these guys
There's
must
so
be
many,
brothers,
right?
Emiliano Salazar is a kicker for San Diego. Adrian Salazar was a kicker for the. Wait, that's the dude you're talking about. He was Coach Prime's kicker.
Oh,
That's who he's talking about at Jackson State, and then I'm pretty sure he brought that dude to Colorado. So Bickham was not doing a Buchanan. He actually was pulling ball knowledge out of his head.
ball knower, Cade Bickham. Good pull, Cade.
Thank you.
Moving right along, and because I've got a Houston Astros fan behind the glass and a Texas Rangers casual to my right. Well, I guess one Texas Rangers casual to my right and one Texas Rangers diehard further to my right, off camera with no mic next to her. The Houston Astros won the Silver Boot last night. They swept the Houston Astros won the Silver Boot. They swept the Texas Rangers in Houston in a 3-game series. Looks like the Rangers' little rascals run and their hopes for the postseason might have come to an end in Space City. They won last night they won the season series over Texas 7-6. My question: do you care about winning the Silver Boot?
My level of care for the sport of baseball is not up to what yours is. That is all I will say on that matter, and that's okay. However, nothing gets me fired up like a good rivalry, and it's difficult because I have a lot of friends who are Astros fans, so that's really the only reason I was watching it was because they had it on downstairs at my house. I would not have been tuned in otherwise. I don't start really watching baseball until October. Just a personal thing. I've got football and basketball that I'm really tuned into, and hockey. So for me, and my answer will definitely be different than the target audience, I would say no, I really don't care, even though it's a rivalry. Bronny will talk smack about it. Cade Bickham and Nick Savage and Kay Nagley will all give me and Callie Garner the mess for it.
Time out. Kay Nagley watches. She likes
no,
the
but
Astros?
She's an Astros fan. I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't. Actually,
and
I don't
Kaylee
think
Dreyer,
she cares.
all the people who are casual fans like myself will pile it on the Rangers fans, and that's okay. I'll take it because, we lost. However, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Now, if it was a rivalry in any other sport and my team lost, yeah, I would be mad.
Bickham, your rebuttal.
I think I'm with him to a certain extent. I care because it's the rivalry, and it's really the only team that I think it's a regional rivalry, so that's what makes it cooler, I guess, from that perspective. And also, if I were a Rangers fan, I also wouldn't care as much because I've lost the last 9 in a row. But
yeah, all right, you got me.
But also it doesn't feel as authentic as some rivalries do. The Bears-Packers rivalry feels authentic to a certain extent. The Eagles-Cowboys rivalry feels authentic because they're in the same division, and Dallas fans just hate Philly fans. Frankly, I'd say the Astros-Yankees have more of a hate each other thing going on than the Astros and Rangers do. So from that perspective, I get it, but also it is the in-state rivalry, and there's a trophy that goes with it or whatever, and so it's cool to win it. Yeah.
Do you think there should be trophies for professional rivalries? That's
Yes.
another question for that, because I've got my favorite teams, and obviously Dodgers and Giants is a historic rivalry. The Detroit Red Wings being an original 6 team, obviously they've got some historic rivalries with teams that have existed for the better part of a century. The Lions have long-standing rivalries with the Packers and the Bears, although I'm sure those two franchises look at the Lions as an annoying little brother because they've been irrelevant for so long. I'm trying to think. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I know the Pistons, Lakers,
Pistons are
Celtics,
beefing with
stuff
everybody.
like that.
Yeah.
The Pistons are
But
beefing
the
with everybody
NBA
right
rivalries
now.
don't hit the same. The teams don't really hate each other. It's more like player rivalries.
Even the ones that are supposed to be cool, like Lakers Celtics, aren't even.
They don't.
It doesn't
they don't
have juice
truly-
anymore.
See,
It doesn't have
Lakers
juice.
Celtics is one of the few rivalries that has a trophy involved, and it's called the Larry O'Brien Trophy
That's
because they were
good.
actually playing for championships back in the day.
True.
It just doesn't move the needle for me. If I'm watching an NBA, I guess rivalry, it's for player beefs. It is for Pat Beverly and whoever he's talking smack about.
The
that
NBA's
week.
done a really good job of marketing that. I'll give them credit, like the player beefs. But the NBA has become such a more individualized sport than all of the other professional four.
That's true. You have to market individuals way heavier in the NBA than they market them in the MLB or the NFL, maybe even combined. It's not even unless it's like the Thunder or the Pacers last year. Like, well, even Shea was getting a bunch of coverage, but like the Pacers were probably the only team there where it was like about like, oh yeah, they're them as a team, like as a group, because they had Tyrese Halliburton, but they didn't have like a superstar. So that's like why the narrative around them was that they're like the complete team. But everybody else, it's like, who's the superstar? Who's carrying the team?
Well, I think Halliburton has made himself into a superstar.
Well, I agree with that, but
but
a
at
lot
the
of
time,
people wouldn't
you're
say
absolutely
that, yeah.
right. That's like how it was marketed. Well, also I will say that our very own head coach Bucky McMillan loves the Pacers and loves their philosophy and loves the way they play. So if it's any indication of
It all
I'll
comes
stop
back
there.
to Bucky McMillan. It all comes back to Bucky McMillan. I was completely prepared to just let you
Speaking
two
of.
basketball nuts go crazy. Oh, great! That's awesome. We're ready for that.
Yeah.
We might have breaking news on this
On the
edition of the B
show.
Team for a couple of reasons. We
We're
don't know
just
for
on-
sure. We're just teasing.
we're just on great timing this whole day. It's been a day of
It's a
nothing
day.
but unreal timing.
For a bye week, it certainly hasn't felt like a bye week. Like, and I was telling Billy this. Billy's like, "What are you going to do with your weekend?" Because like we're free. We are free. We are free. There is no football game on Saturday. We don't have to be here 7 hours before kickoff. We don't have to be here 7 hours after the game ends. Whatever. We're free. Now that's an exaggeration. We're not here 7 hours before, 7 hours after. That would be nuts.
It's probably more like
But it's
4
probably
hours.
3, 4 before, maybe 3 hours after.
Yeah.
Depends on the game and the outcome.
How are we spending our bye week? We're getting ready, so we're staying
But
ready, so we don't have to
How
get
are
ready.
how are you spending your bye week? Texas A&M Athletics has 4 straight nights of home games. That's how we're spending our bye week.
It's just too
volleyball
funny.
tonight, volleyball tomorrow, volleyball on Saturday, soccer on Sunday, and then Mike Elko press conference on Monday afternoon. It all gets ramped up again. Like there's
days
no
off.
real bye week around
No
these
days
parts,
off.
is there, Luke?
No.
Or Nick, Cade?
Not a single one.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like for you guys, Cade, I know you kind of ran the show today, right? No, Luke ran the
Luke
show
did.
today.
I got it tomorrow.
You got it tomorrow. Nick was in the host chair on TexAgs Live. It's not a bye week.
It's really not.
It's really not.
It's a time to step up week. But then also, I think the best part, and I saw this was a topic of yours, how we're spending the bye week. So my ideal Saturday and Sunday during a bye week is to not move a muscle. I'm going to be lazy and DoorDash whatever food I want and just sit on my couch and watch college football and NFL football because we are so busy every Saturday and Sunday. Like this is, for a lot of us, our first time working almost all day Saturday, almost all day Sunday. And so I'm going to take as much time as I can to recharge. And also my 24th birthday is on Sunday. So I will be celebrating. I don't know how yet, but I will be celebrating.
There's a lot of merit to just vegging and chilling out, right? And
Bed rotting,
I
as the
think
kids
a
call
lot
it.
of people around this office, regardless of department, earn it. Like they earn it. What are you looking at me? Okay, well, calm down, Callie. Callie is my signal for things. She's keeping an eye on things that I can't watch right now, specifically content relating to my favorite baseball player quitting. But no, dude, I'm completely with you. I would absolutely love to just sit in my apartment, not leave. No, I've got enough groceries in the house that I don't even have to DoorDash anything. I don't even have to go anywhere. I don't have to spend any money if I don't want to. Except for the fact that in my nature, I can't sit still. I can't do it. I get so restless and so bored. Like I will start pacing around the apartment. Like I'll think about starting to clean, but I'll just walk around. Like I won't actually have a vacuum cleaner in my hand or anything. Drives Jenna nuts. But I can't sit still. I can't do it. My dad's the same way. My grandfather's the same way. Like something about the Zane guys. We just can't sit still. I can't rot. And I'm to the point now where my body clock even if there's a night game on a Saturday, we don't have to be at the office until 2:00 to get ready for tailgate and whatnot. I'm up at 8 a.m. I'm not gonna just lay there in bed. I'm gonna get some coffee. I'm gonna make some breakfast. Like I'm up. Like the days of sleeping in like I used to when I was a student, completely gone. And that's really, really sad because I feel like I'm so far behind on sleep and I just have no chance to catch up. And a bye week would be the perfect opportunity to do that, but I can't.
Because you've got people calling you at all hours of the night. But I agree.
Yeah, time out. Let's visit that. Somebody called me this week at 11:15 for something that could have been a text message. And something that we had to handle in the morning that could have apparently waited a couple of days. Any guesses as to who that person was that called me?
No idea who that could have been. However, that person was definitely using timely communication just in case, and he wanted to make sure that people were informed. So can you fault him? Yes. However, will he learn from this? Also, yes.
I think you did the right thing by calling me, just to make sure we had our bases covered. That was a good move on your part. It was just a little annoying because I was already, I don't know if you could tell on the phone.
Yeah,
I was already kind of
like,
half asleep.
I felt like I woke you up.
Yeah, you kind of did. I was in that space where I was falling asleep, like nodding off, and then my phone buzzing's what kept me up. Cade Bickham, any bye week plans, my friend?
Well, so for me, apparently there's like 4 people coming to my house this weekend, and so I will likely just sit around and watch football. I'll probably watch some soccer in the morning before college football starts and before the NFL starts, just because I, like you, cannot sleep in. Luckily, it's not as early as 8, but I really can't get past 9:30, 10 anymore. Who's
coming to town, dude?
Sad.
You having a party?
No, not a party. It's just like my roommates' friends, and then some like old roommates that used to live in the place. So yeah, should be interesting. And I'll just watch football and do whatever. Probably watch some movies.
Wow, we're a lively bunch.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bye week.
We're doing nothing.
Like what?
He's rotting. Chill. I'm pacing the floors of my apartment before I go to games, and you're just sitting on the couch watching football.
I'm chilling.
Welcome to TexAgs.
God. Your favorite personalities.
Your favorite personalities.
They're just
are
like you,
boring.
except more boring. Guys, I guess since we're all watching football this weekend, you guys want to go ahead and make some picks for games around the country this week?
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I pulled a few that I think are... Say that again,
Would you like me to pull up the lines?
I have the lines in front of me, or at least
fantastic.
I had the lines in front of me as they stood earlier today. I pulled 10, right? Did I count 10 or did I pull 11? If there's anything I didn't get to, feel free to speak up. The first one I have on my list... Arkansas, the 2-1 Razorbacks headed to Memphis to face the 3-0 Tigers. Hogs getting 5.5 points. That seems like a big line, but
wait,
it also
giving?
No, they're up. Like they're a 5.5 point favorite. I say that wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
They're getting 5.5 points.
They're giving 5.5 points.
They're giving.
Yeah.
Oh, so I said it right.
I thought you said getting the first time.
I don't know. It's been a day. Anyways, Arkansas, 5.5 point favorite entering this week 3 matchup with Memphis, at Memphis.
Arkansas, all day.
Yeah, I'd take Arkansas in the points, mainly just because that offense is running at a very high level right now, and they just put up 35. They probably could have put up more on Ole Miss if they didn't have I honestly didn't watch the game, but I've heard that there was a fumble late and that Arkansas could have scored another touchdown. Is that correct?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch Arkansas at all.
That's what I've heard though. So
yeah, my understanding is that Arkansas could have upset Ole Miss last week, but there was a late play that swung it in favor of the Rebels. We'll talk a little bit more about the Rebels, but we can't move on without talking about Taylon Green and the fantastic start he's off to. He's currently the nation's leader in total offense. Is Taylon Green going to be enough to save Sam Pittman's job? I haven't seen enough. I also know that Taylon Green is the guy that failed to make the big play down the stretch when Texas A&M and Arkansas said farewell to Jerry World last October, while Marcel Reed did not. Yeah. Taylon Green, great player, one of the best in the Southeastern Conference, but those numbers he's put up are against two nobodies and an Ole Miss defense that might be one of the worst in the league.
They might be very bad. They gave up like 23 to Kentucky.
Woof. Yeah. That I have a lot of questions about Arkansas. I just don't know what that team's state is going to be because, like, they've fought just enough. Like, that Tennessee win saved Pittman's job. They fight just enough to save him, but, like, is this the year it's finally, all right, even 5 or 6 wins isn't going to cut it? You know, I just don't know how much fight this team has left. I think they win. They beat Memphis. But when it comes to the Notre Dame game, the A&M game, I just don't know yet how that team's going to respond.
How many wins do they have to get to?
Before they get into the meat of the SEC schedule, could be 3-2 if they don't upset Notre Dame.
Yeah. How many wins do they need for Pittman to save his job?
Like 7, you think? Like, even just a bowl
Are they
game.
going to be Are they going to be happy in Fayetteville with 7 wins?
I don't think they're going to be happy unless he wins like 8.
They would have to get to 8 or 9. I think
7's just more the same.
That's
but
a good
I also
point.
think that's a program that's just going to be mediocre under his guidance. It's going to be mediocre until they make the right hire, and they haven't made the right hire a couple of times, really, since Bobby Petrino was forced to leave.
And that fan base is itching to just hand the reins over to Petrino.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting. I will also take the Hogs. Arkansas 5.5-point favorites at Memphis, going on the road. Game up in Luke Evangelist's neck of the woods, a battle in the DFW Metroplex. It's the battle for the Iron Skillet, Kate. I don't know if you knew that was the name of this here rivalry. The SMU Ponies, the Mustangs, are 2-1, headed to Amon G. Carter Stadium to face the 2-0 TCU Horned Frogs. The Frogs, 4-point favorite. Who you got, Mr. B?
Ooh. Frogs are a 4-point favorite, you say?
I do.
Okay.
I do say.
I'm gonna go SMU covers because I think they lose by 3. But I think that TCU's looked pretty solid and that quarterback looks pretty good. So
Josh Hoover?
Yeah, Hoover.
I mean, I've really only watched TCU once, and I think it was the game everybody was watching when they rudely introduced Bill Belichick to the world of college football.
That was brutal.
They just dropped a teaser on at Aggie Football, a teaser of the throwback uniforms. It is Trey Zune inside the Dixie Chicken. Great aesthetic here.
Everybody run to Twitter to watch this 16-second video.
All you can see is the back of the jersey poking out with that throwback A&M logo on the back of the neck above.
I will
Zune.
say, so you can see he's wearing white pants. It's a maroon jersey. Yep. The numbers they seem to be a traditional block.
Yeah.
So not whatever Texas A&M's rolling right now with the barbed wire accents is what I believe they call them. And there is a number, or there's a name on the back of Zune's jersey. Looks to be a solid maroon jersey, but you can't really see through those sliding saloon doors.
No, they're very tactical, giving us just a sliver. But you do see that little throwback A&M logo above his last name.
I think they're going to continue teasing more.
You think they're going to wear those for Auburn? Like if they're teasing
might.
If
they're teasing them now, they might. They might. I mean, if it's a maroon jersey, think about it. You only have 4 more opportunities at home, and one of them's already taken to wear the blackout, or they're calling it Operation Blackout. They haven't said for sure that they're going to wear a black uniform. I think we can all infer and reasonably deduce and make educated guesses that they're going to wear black uniforms. Luke Evangelist, you have some breaking news?
We have some more breaking news here to break on the show.
The 5 o'clock hour on the B team. Y'all saying that this is an 8th grade show and not nearly as good as anything Ryan Brauninger's done? Y'all are wrong, because we're breaking news. We're talking about uniforms. We are sending out breaking news tweets.
Bang, bang,
Evangelist,
bang.
tell us what just happened.
Bucky McMillan has landed his first commitment in the class of 2026. It is Nico Mundy, a 6'3" point guard from Maryland. He's the number 3 player in Maryland. Top 50 recruit highest rated player since Manny Obaski. Buzz Williams had just one top 100 player recruited here in 6 years. Bucky McMillan has one in the first 6 months. Mundy, a little player breakdown on him. Perfect fit for the system. Super aggressive two-way guard. Loves to play defense, which is something that not a lot of people want to do these days. And Bucky has preached at practice that it takes a special kind of player to want to play for him, and that is Nico Mundy. Averaged over 21 points a game in AAU, shot over 35% from three, 40% from three in high school ball. Super athletic, first commitment, and we just broke the news right here. If you are a TexAgs Premium subscriber, you have seen, I don't want to say breadcrumbs because I'm not revealing anything, but when this staff goes in-home multiple times and they get him for an official visit, he just visited last weekend, that you can start seeing signs that if you give this staff too many opportunities to meet face-to-face with someone, they're going to lock them up like they did with the portal a lot, and Nico Mundy is their first one. Top 50 player, elite edition, and they're not done yet.
Wow. First high school commitment for Bucky McMillan and company. You can tell by, let's do a one shot on Luke Evangelist. Just look at this. What? No, you ruined it. Look at the size of this guy's smile. Like, look at how happy he is. He's got some basketball stuff to talk about. That's awesome, man. So I guess it begs the question is, where is A&M going to go next? Who are some of these other guys? If he's already reeling in one top 100 recruit, where are they going to go next?
Yeah, so Mundy was their top priority in terms of guards in this class. This class is absolutely loaded with small forwards. I don't know what was going on 18 years ago, but everybody was just popping out small forwards, and that's the position everybody wants to play these days. They've got a lot of options at the small forward position, but someone that I'm watching right now is a center. And you look at who they've prioritized in terms of power forwards and centers, these bigs in this class, and the main one is Josh Irving, who is a top 70 player. He's the number 63 player in the class of 2026. Got a visit scheduled for the Auburn weekend. They've already gone in-home with him, and things seem to be trending upwards for A&M in that one. Kentucky is a school they're going to have to fight off, but the staff likes where they're at with Josh Irving.
I will go ahead and give you a plug. Make sure you're a TexAgs Premium subscriber. Luke Evangelist is doing a fantastic job covering all things Texas A&M basketball. I want to say that no other source will have better intel on what Bucky McMillan and company are doing on the court and on the recruiting trail. I say it time and again. No better value in the game. TexAgs Premium subscription right now. You'll be able to be first in the know on all of the upcoming basketball recruitment stuff from Bucky McMillan and company. Do you want to finish up our thoughts on the football throwback jerseys before we get back to picking some games? So, as I was saying, you've got 4 more home games. One of them you think you're wearing black, so that gives you 3 more opportunities. One of them's going to be that Samford game at 11:45. I don't think, or it's at 11 a.m. I think it's 11 a.m. on the SEC Network Plus. Samford Senior Day. Makes sense that they're going to wear their just traditional maroon jerseys. And then, isn't there a game that has to be the maroon out game? Don't you have to have a maroon out game?
That? Like,
Texas A&M does have a maroon out game.
They say that, but nobody
maroon
ever
out
does
2020, it. But the maroon out is always a jersey. It's the South Carolina game.
Great.
So that leaves you. Well, I guess that's 2. You have 2 other games. So you have Auburn or Mississippi. No, it would be. They're going to wear the throwback jerseys.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of has to be this weekend.
So it would be. Is it Florida and Auburn? You could wear the throwbacks.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's the blackout.
Yeah,
right?
Mississippi State's the blackout.
I feel like if
I was
they're
wrong.
teasing
There's
it
5
now,
more home games.
If they're teasing it now, they're going to do it.
I would imagine. So we'll see.
But we're not breaking that news. We don't.
No,
know
we're not.
yet.
We are just guessing. We are not. This is the B team. Surprisingly, we broke some news. The B stands for breaking news, at least on the basketball front. That's the first time the B team's ever broken any news.
Yeah.
If you want real intel on stuff, watch TexAgs Live. Everything else, it's us just dudes being talking.
That just reminded me. I should probably post this on the TexAgs Instagram too.
What, that we got a basketball commit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that. Well, Luke Evangelist does that. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next game. Big top 25 matchup, top 20 matchup. The 17th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders head to Salt Lake City, where Ryan Brauninger is right now making all sorts of Instagram story posts letting you guys know that he's in Salt Lake. Luke, I don't know if you've heard, Ryan Brauninger's in Salt Lake City.
What?
Callie Garner, Ryan Brauninger's in Salt Lake City. Cade Bickham, Ryan Brauninger's in Salt Lake City. It's number 17 Texas Tech at number 16 Utah. Two 3-0 teams at Rice-Eccles Stadium. The Utes, 3.5-point favorite. It's a big one in the Big 12. And I think the Big 12 might be the most entertaining conference in the league. I won't say they are the best conference in the country, but they are one of the most entertaining.
They are. That's an incredibly entertaining conference. I think there's a lot of parity in that conference. I don't really know who's the best team yet. We know that Kansas State is terrible, for sure. But I will go with the Utes in this game to win and cover, just because they're at home, and that's a tough atmosphere. And also, Texas Tech has played nobody even close to good yet.
Has Utah played anybody though?
Let me go check.
I think it's difficult because I don't really know much about either of these teams because we haven't seen anything from either of them. But you've got a proven program with Kyle Whittingham. Devin Dampier seems to be getting some Heisman hype. Clearly, we all know we can trust what the media says in terms of Heisman polling already.
Like Olin Buchanan?
Yes, like Olin Buchanan and the people who told you that Arch was the best player since Tim Tebow. However, I don't know. I feel like that atmosphere at Utah is one of the most underrated ones in the country. I feel like I got to lean home team here and go Utah. But Texas Tech, I'm interested to see what that roster can do. Somebody on the YouTube, it was Dalton, said top 50 recruit. How many books has he read this year? I don't know how many books he's read, but he can play.
That's a good bit.
The Utah defense, by the way, has only allowed 25 points in 3 games. And they went on the road and beat UCLA by 33.
Okay, College Station High could do that.
Yeah, they beat Cal Poly at home 63-9, and then they went on the road to Wyoming and won 31-6. Wyoming, not like a crazy atmosphere, but that stadium's pretty nice and it can fit more people than you'd think it would. So probably not the worst road atmosphere of all time.
I want to take. I don't know who I want to take here. Like I could be convinced to pick Baron Morton and the Raiders. I could be persuaded to take Kyle Whittingham's Utes. So I'm going to give it to the home team. I think that Utah is going to win this one, and that 3.5. I'll say they win by a touchdown. So I think they'll cover. Moving on, I think this game's going to get pretty ugly, but it is the Civil War up in the Pacific Northwest. The 0-3 Oregon State Beavers at number 6 Oregon, a team that might have the best offense in the country, though they didn't look all that great up in Evanston, Illinois on Saturday. Oregon 3-0, but the Ducks 27.5-point favorites. Wow.
Oregon by however many points they want in this game. I think they'll cover. Oregon State is bad. They're 0-3.
They're terrible, dude.
They're really terrible, and I don't think that they've even played anybody super crazy yet. And Oregon is 3-0, and they're mauling everybody, bar Northwestern this last week. But yeah, that's going to be brutal. They're going to smoke them.
Yeah, Oregon by Sarah McLachlan's special.
What does that mean?
Josh Pate. Anytime a team just gets like absolutely murdered, that's his special of the week, and they play sad music and
it's in the arms of an angel.
Yeah, and Florida was it last week. Oklahoma State was it the week before. So basically, yeah, Oregon's pretty much just obliterating teams. I'm going to give them a Sarah McLachlan special preemptively.
All right. In the Southeastern Conference, perhaps the game of the week in the entire country, if it's not that Tech-Utah game, number 22 Auburn, 3-0, heads to Norman to face number 11 Oklahoma, also 3-0. This is Jackson Arnold's return to Norman Of course, he transferred away from Oklahoma, found a home with Hugh Freeze. It'll be his first time back. Sooners, 4.5 points. John Mateer, he's an early season Heisman favorite. A lot of eyes are going to be on the quarterback battle in this one.
John Mateer to me is, I need one more game from him before my questions are answered. And I know I'm not saying he's a solidified Heisman favorite after 4 games, but
Texas A&M Athletics now saying that throwback stuff is going to be available to shop on September 22nd.
That is Monday, and what is Monday? The start of game week.
Huh.
Interesting.
All right, Texas A&M seems more and more like they're going to wear a throwback jersey against Auburn next Saturday. If they do not, you can blame Luke Evangelist. Anyways, back to Auburn, Oklahoma. Texas A&M's next opponent, the Auburn Tigers. Luke, do you have any other thoughts after I so rudely cut you off?
Yeah. Oklahoma, once again, I think they're going to win. That defense, I need to see a little bit more before I'm ready to say they're a top defense that everyone else thinks they are. I'm just a little bit hesitant, but I do think they have enough to shut down Jackson Arnold. What is the spread here? 7.5?
I saw it at 4.5.
Oh, 4.5? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oklahoma for sure. I look at what happened to Oklahoma and Michigan, and I told you on camera on the tailgate show, I said Oklahoma by double digits. Like, I don't think they win by 2 touchdowns, but I think they win by 10, and they end up winning by 11. And I seriously think it's Oklahoma by 10 or 11 again. I just don't know if that Auburn defense can stop a nosebleed. We're about to find out for A&M's sake next week, but I think that Oklahoma offense is just a little bit too explosive. Those wide receivers are finally healthy. They've got Deion Burks. They've got John Mateer. They've got Jaden Ott. I think Oklahoma's going to roll it home.
Yeah, I don't think Auburn's very good. The only time I've really gotten to watch the Tigers was their Friday night season opener against Baylor at the behest of Mr. Matthew Dawson, who kind of persuaded us and kind of peer pressured us into watching that game, and what a dud that was. Baylor looks terrible. That's really the best Auburn has looked. That's the best that Jackson Arnold and this running game have looked. I think Auburn's going to have to do it on the ground, but how are they going to be able to do that when they're not running 4th and 1 jet sweeps or sweeps with their quarterback against the likes of South Alabama? I really like this Brent Venables team against Hugh Freeze and this offense and a quarterback that hasn't really proven himself to be much of a thrower just yet. I'll take the Sooners, and anybody who knows me, that's pretty painful because I'm not a big fan of the Crimson and Cream up in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'll take the Sooners as well. I've been on the John Mateer hype train since he was in the transfer portal from Washington State. I know that Washington State was not playing in a real conference last year, but he put up great numbers over there. He brought his offensive coordinator with him to Oklahoma, and their offense looks notably better than it did last year. Their defense is going to be good because it's Brent Venables, and Auburn kind of looked iffy against South Alabama, I guess would be the term. It wasn't like super convincing. So yeah, all that to say, Oklahoma is covering that spread.
All 3 of us rocking with OU. All right, Luke, this one's for you. Number 21, Michigan. The Michigan Wolverines, 2-1 at Nebraska. The Huskers undefeated at 3-0. Michigan, with or without Sharon Moore this week? I believe they're without their head coach.
I don't think it matters.
Wolverines are 2.5-point favorites.
I just cannot get the image out of my mind of Dylan Raiola getting all that Patrick Mahomes love, that pregame, all that hoopla. And he looked so underwhelming against Cincinnati. I just cannot get it out of my mind. I know they won that game, but he just doesn't threaten me. When I watch him and I look at the weapons that they have, I know Nebraska has Dane Key and they've got this revamped passing attack. I just haven't seen it, quite frankly. And I think this is going to be your classic low-scoring Big Ten game, and I feel like I trust Bryce Underwood more, even though I have so many questions about the Michigan offense. I just feel like Michigan's offense has always been manage the game, not very explosive, but Bryce Underwood might just give them that little bit of edge that they need to go on the road. And also, when was the last time Nebraska won a big game?
Would you consider the game against Cincinnati a big game?
No, I mean like ranked opponent coming to their house.
I don't know
this is
the
their
answer to
Super
that.
Bowl.
Way to put me on the spot. Like,
No, it could be rhetorical too, but I just really, really feel like Nebraska doesn't get up for these moments how they should. And maybe Matt Rule proves me wrong, but until I see it with Dylan Raiola, I'm not convinced he's anything special.
I agree, Luke. Dylan Raiola is Patrick Mahomes with no aura, and they did look bad. They didn't look very good against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati didn't look very good either. So who's to say that Michigan didn't score the most points against Oklahoma, but that's a better opponent than Cincinnati, and they looked a little bit more like they had a little bit more life than Cincinnati in that game. So yeah, I just think Michigan wins. I feel like Nebraska they just don't have it. They don't have it.
I also think Michigan wins, especially if they're without Sherrod Moore. I think they're a better team without their head coach, which is crazy to say. I don't think he's very good. A game that's pitting two unbeatens against each other, but has quite the lopsided line. I think the team that's the underdog might have the better quarterback in this one. It's the Tulane Green Wave going to Oxford, Mississippi to face the number 13th ranked Ole Miss Rebels, Lane Kiffin and company. Favored by 2 touchdowns, 14 points. That seems insane, especially when you don't know exactly how healthy Austin Simmons is.
Yeah, I think Tulane is one of those teams very well coached. They've got a lot of talent. Obviously, Jake Retzlaff, another member of our community.
Shout out the community.
Shout out the community. If we are picking against the spread, maybe it's more of a conversation of I think maybe Tulane can backdoor cover here, but Ole Miss just looked really good with Trinidad Chambliss, their backup quarterback from Ferris State. Richard, you're a hockey guy, so you know this. If you don't watch college hockey, you have no idea what Ferris State is. You have idea what that school is.
That's true.
And they got a dude who played quarterback at a D2 football school, D1 hockey school to come. I mean, Arkansas's defense is nothing special, but they put up a damn near 50 spot on them. Ferris State in Big Rapids, Michigan. I just can't get that image out of my mind. I don't know if Ole Miss has what it takes to compete at the top of the SEC, but Lane Kiffin is seeming to handle his business, even though they looked absolutely putrid against Kentucky. I think that really stood out to me, that it was just plug and play backup with a dude who has a fraction of the skill set of Austin Simmons, and they still look dominant. I don't think Tulane poses as many challenges as Arkansas does. But I still think it's closer than, 16?
Yeah, I'll also take the Rebels to win, but the Green Wave to cover. As I said, I think Tulane's got the better quarterback in this one. Jake Retzlaff is my guy. Very sad that we can no longer call him the BY Jew, but says more about Brigham Young University than it does Jake Retzlaff. Okay, do you have a pick here?
Yeah, I'll go with Ole Miss to win, but not to cover. 14 does seem a little bit wild, especially given that Tulane's offense has been pretty solid so far. But yeah, to go off of Luke's point about Chambliss, he was really good in that game. He was 21 for 29 passing, 353 and a touchdown. He was also their leading rusher in the game, 15 carries for 62 yards and 2. So,
from one game that's got an insanely big spread, a spread that feels too large, to one that the spread might feel not large enough, it's the game where College Game Day is headed. Florida 1-2, Billy Napier on the hottest of hot seats, DJ Lagway, who threw 5 interceptions last week against the LSU Tigers, on the road in Miami Gardens facing number 4 Miami. The Hurricanes are 3-0. They are a 6.5-point favorite. This really seems like Carson Beck is setting up for a potential Heisman moment in which he absolutely trounces a name brand rival in front of a national television audience, because I don't think the Florida Gators have any idea how to get this train back on the rails. It is a complete derailment. We talked yesterday about Jabbar Jaluki, something.
Their staffer.
Yeah, their associate head coach and running back coach. He's been suspended for 4 games. Billy Napier has no idea what's going on. Give me the Canes by whatever they want, dude. And I'm not a huge Mario Cristobal fan. I think Mario Cristobal's game management, clock management leaves a lot to be desired, to the point where he could do something insanely dumb and lose this game. We've seen him lose a game he shouldn't have lost last year to Georgia Tech.
Wait, that was
last year
that
or
was
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Regardless,
But you're
he's
right.
still the same dude. He's
Yeah.
still the same dude. But I think Florida is that bad.
Maybe it was last year.
I think Florida's that bad.
I think it's the Canes by box combo. It's the Canes by Caniac combo. 5-piece chicken tenders, and every single tender is a touchdown.
No slaw, extra toast.
No slaw, extra toast, and every toast is a field goal.
No slaw, extra toast.
That's what they're about to do to Florida. However, as I say that and make that what I thought in my head was a funny reference, Florida's defense is not bad. The only reason they are in any game is because of that defense. They've given up 2 touchdowns all year on defense. The problem is DJ Lagway can't hit the broadside of a barn, and Billy Napier thinks he needs to throw the ball 50 times a game to win. They have an elite offensive line, not elite. They have an elite running back and a serviceable offensive line with a couple good pieces. They need to be running the ball more than they're throwing it. And I don't know if it was 50 times or 48 or whatever, but I may not be exaggerating in saying they tried to throw the ball 50 times against LSU and they got 5 picks because of it. Different coaching staff, maybe the answer is different, but with this Billy Napier-led squad, I just feel like they know their season is 1 loss away from crumbling, and you've got 3 straight top 10 opponents. Well, 4 straight. Yeah, LSU, Miami, Texas, Texas A&M. 4 straight top 10 opponents. One of these games, they're going to mail it in and just get absolutely boat raced, and I think this might be the game. DJ Lagway's just not seeing the field right now, and that's
he's seeing
the only promise they have.
Seeing ghosts. Everywhere he looks, he's seeing ghosts. Kay, did you make a pick, or did I zone out?
No, but this is a pretty simple Miami wins and covers.
Yeah.
Florida's bad.
I think it's insane that College Game Day is going there. Now, I know they're not going to go back to Norman for the second time in 3 weeks, and apparently they don't want to go to a Big Ten school.
They could have gone to Bloomington, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Number 9,
were 2 good
Illinois.
Big Ten
At
games.
number 19, Indiana. Hoosiers, 4.5-point favorites. Are you going with Burt or are you going with Coach Sig?
I'll rock with Burt in Illinois and Luke Altmaier.
Luke Altmaier.
Top 10 Illinois team.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on Indiana's entire offense. I don't have the numbers on the top of my head, but they've been putting up probably 50, 60 on these directional high schools that Matthew Dawson was probably playing back in his day. Who is it? Fernando Mendoza's their quarterback.
He's solid though.
I just think, and I know Illinois hasn't done anything to deserve being ranked in the top 10, but I think Luke Altmaier and that whole system is just a lot more proven than all the pieces Indiana had to replace. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, and I love the fact that I want to say this is the first time Illinois-Indiana has been a ranked matchup since 1950. You want to talk about A&M breaking that 1979 road non-conference top 10 win streak? I think it's awesome that this game is between ranked opponents because these two teams, for the majority of us growing up watching Michigan football, have been the doormat of the conference. I'm going to look forward to watching this game. With that being said, I've got Illinois winning.
Last game, and I'm going to pick it real quick because I got to run out. I'm going to leave you guys with Luke and Cade for the last 15 minutes of the show. Got to go cover Texas A&M volleyball as they open up their home schedule against Southeastern Louisiana. Tip off first serve 6 p.m. tonight. Our last game to pick, South Carolina. The Gamecocks are 2-1, headed to Columbia, Missouri to face number 23 Mizzou. The Missouri Tigers 3-0. They are also a 3-point favorite. Give me Eli Drinkwitz and Bo Pribula.
Wow.
I don't think South Carolina is very good. Gentlemen, good luck. Please make sure there is a show for Brawny and I to come back to on Tuesday.
Yes,
Proud
sir.
of both of you guys. Keep it up.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Who'd you just pick? South Carolina?
Sorry, I meant
Missouri.
to say South. Yeah, it took Missouri.
I don't know what's up with Lenora Sellers here. Bo Prabula has really surprised me, and so has Ahmad Hardy, their running back.
I agree. I think that offense looks far better. That offense looks far better than I thought it was going to be.
Retweet.
And South Carolina, do they have Sellers this weekend?
Well, since it is an SEC matchup, we are blessed with the fact that we will get a student-athlete availability report. The first one is 24 hours before the game, so sometime tomorrow, and then there will be one. Maybe that's just basketball that does it in that time period. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, before the game, you're going to get an availability report.
Yeah.
Now, how accurately they'll fill it out, you don't know because Lane Kiffin is also abusing that system. But I trust both of those coaches will be open and honest. And if it's not Lenora Sellers, South Carolina is really going to struggle. And then
their team is brutal without him.
You look at that game, that game for A&M, that's a revenge game with South Carolina. A lot of these teams on A&M's schedule that you're like, okay, maybe this is a toss-up. Those have kind of changed, in my opinion.
I totally agree.
I look at the Missouri game as like, yeah, they should go on the road and handle Missouri. But the way that they've been playing, I'm not so certain. And I think this South Carolina-Missouri game, two teams that A&M is going to play during their really crucial stretch down the stretch of the season is going to tell me a lot, even without Lenore Sellers, just to see what that South Carolina defense can do to stop Bo Prabula, who, I mean, he's not Marcel Reed, but he can move.
Yeah, I think what's interesting from that perspective, you talked about the schedule and games that you thought have looked different now. I think that there's been two that have changed for me on both sides. So the two that I thought were going to be real tough challenges were South Carolina and Florida at home. I thought those were going to be pretty tough. And now I'm looking at both of those games, and they're looking a lot more winnable, especially if South Carolina keeps playing the way that they have, and especially if Florida doesn't wake up. And then the two that look significantly harder now are Mississippi State at home at night, and then Missouri on the road. That's going to be that's going to be a way tougher game than I thought it was going to be before the season started. I know that Drinkwitz and Missouri got blessed with another fairly light schedule. Yeah, I wasn't gonna belittle them, but yeah, pretty light schedule. And I thought they were gonna go 8-4 with it, but they're looking like they could win 10 games again.
Yeah, I think my preseason thoughts. I guess I don't even know if I ever said this out loud outside of at the social center. Was I thought Florida's talent would be that of a 10-2 team, but because of their schedule, I would pick them to go more 8-4-ish. But with Missouri, their talent was of an 8-4 team, but because of that schedule, I would pick them to finish closer to 10-2, and they would be a top 5 team in the SEC record-wise without me thinking they're actually a top 5 team in the conference. And I know we talk about schedule imbalance all the time. The SEC is not even the worst of it. Like the Big Ten, has the worst schedule imbalance ever, but Missouri was getting the most favorable schedule imbalance in the SEC, and it's notable. Like it is the difference between a playoff spot or not. If you give A&M that schedule, people are talking a lot differently about the outlook of this season if you don't have to play Texas. Well, obviously they would play their top rival, but just imagine you flip the logos and A&M now had Missouri's schedule. People are talking a lot differently about A&M preseason and right now, and that's just unfortunately a factor of schedule imbalance. Florida and Missouri have two very different paths to one team being, well, now I've been debunked that I don't think Florida is actually a 10-2 talent, but a lot of that has to do with DJ Lagway. I just thought that the schedule imbalance was going to be a bigger deal than it was, and Missouri has proved me wrong in the fact that they are a much better offense than I thought they would be, and Florida has proved me wrong in the fact that they're not actually as talented as I thought they were, and that schedule is actually just going to beat them up.
Yeah, I was never super. I probably haven't said this anywhere live, and so you can take my word for it or you can't, but I was never super high on DJ Lagway heading into this year, especially not over some of the people that were getting put ahead of him. I was, just looking. I know that you can't just do this, but looking face value at the stats that he put up last season, his touchdown to interception ratio was 12-9. That is not good. And he just threw his interception touchdown ratio or TD to interception ratio this last weekend against LSU was 1-5. So, I mean, prevalent issues with him, taking care of the ball. And when you were talking about schedule imbalance, a thought came to mind. The Big Ten is bad. Do we think that it's bad in the ACC, or is it just because the ACC is so weak other than a couple teams?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the schedule imbalance is that bad in the ACC because all the top teams are going to play each other. You're going to see Florida State, Miami. You're going to see Georgia Tech. They just played Clemson. The schedule imbalance isn't that big of a problem, but I do want to talk about it in the Big Ten. I think that's why I brought that up initially, was because I wanted to segue into this. Penn State, first of all, James Franklin is a friend of TexAgs, so if you like Penn State football, please close your ears for this. Penn State seems to always skate by the non-conference schedule discussions. Outside of when they played Auburn a couple years ago, their non-conference schedule hasn't been worth 2 cents, and moving forward, it may not even be worth a penny. Let me read you their not just non-conference schedule, but entire schedule next season, and I want you to count how many of these teams will have a pulse next year. It's hard to predict, but just going on brand value and what they are this year. Marshall, Temple, Buffalo.
That's 3 no's.
Maryland, Michigan, Northwestern. Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers. USC, Wisconsin, Washington. No Michigan State, no Ohio State, no Oregon.
There's like 2.5 teams with a pulse on that schedule.
USC and Michigan are the only teams that actually play Division I football. They legitimately got every bottom feeder in the conference next year. So if James Franklin isn't locking up a playoff spot next year, that is going to be one of the most embarrassing failures. And let's be honest.
How many of those teams are even going to be ranked when they play them next year?
Probably
maybe
Michigan. Maybe USC.
Maybe
but
USC, yeah.
Purdue
No.
is probably, people talk about UCLA being bad. You have not watched Purdue football. They might actually be worse. So Penn State, and that's the funny part is all this noise was made about SEC doesn't play 9 conference games. Their schedule's not hard. The SEC this, the SEC that. And there was a lot coming from the Big Ten. And then you look at one of their playoff contenders getting a schedule like that. Like, that is just ridiculous schedule imbalance that they don't have to play a single tough non-conference game, and then they only have 2 tough conference games. Could you imagine what A&M would feel like if they just got to play? Well, you can't even say there's a bad team in the SEC.
It's like getting to play Kentucky like 5 times. Yeah.
You get to play Kentucky 7 times, and then you got 2 games against Auburn. That's literally what that schedule is. Like, there are no bad teams, and you can't say playing Mississippi State is equivalent to playing Purdue or playing UCLA. The bottom 2 in the SEC, well, Kentucky's a whole nother schedule, but like the bottom teams of Mississippi State, and people picked Vanderbilt to be 3rd to last. That Vanderbilt might be a top 4 team in the Big Ten. Mississippi State might win 6 or 7 games with that schedule.
There's also a much larger crowd factor in the SEC. The crowd factor is so much more important. You can go to Starkville and lose because they're crazy with those cowbells. You can go to South Carolina's Williams-Brice, right?
Yep.
You can go there and lose because they get rowdy. Like all these places, bar maybe, I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't been to Vanderbilt or Kentucky. If I were to pick 2 stadiums that I thought were not maybe as electric, it would be those 2. But I would still wager that they get a little bit rowdier there than they do at most of those Big Ten schools that we've mentioned, like Northwestern.
Northwestern's playing at a soccer stadium.
Are they actually? See, exactly.
Well, I'm exaggerating, but if it's their setup's actually pretty cool. They're playing, I want to say, in like a 20,000 seat temporary stadium out on the lake, and Oregon just played there last week. Let me look up some pictures, but it's literally a soccer stadium.
See, and that can work because Oregon. Let me look this up real quick. But Oregon plays at Autzen. Autzen Stadium is notorious for being pretty loud, and the capacity is only 60,000.
Yeah,
that's not super crazy, But they get loud over there because they have a real fan base who really cares about that team, and I'm sure that whoever designed that stadium made it so that the acoustics would be pretty crazy whenever it gets loud in there. But still, like, there's not that same element at a lot of those. From what I hear, there's not that same element at a lot of those Big Ten schools.
Yeah, absolutely. The one Big Ten football game I've ever been to was Michigan against Indiana at the Big House, 2010 or 11, one of those years. Indiana was a doormat of the conference. I think we left at halftime because that's just what Indiana football was, but I'm excited to watch them this week. Cade, speaking of watching, thoughts on the Pulse yesterday?
It was...
Where does that rank in your all-time Pulse watches?
It was pretty up there. It was really good. It was like a cinematic experience for the game, basically. I kind of expected them to do it like they had done the last couple of episodes, where they do a little bit more like pre-week, pre-game, middle of the week practice stuff where we get to know somebody. But no, they just gave us a team meeting. They gave us pre-game, and then they just went through the whole game, all the highlights. Oh, it was awesome. And then, Coach Elko fired me up at halftime and after the game. Great stuff. The players, dancing in the locker room after, like they were making a music video. Pretty funny. Great episode. Fantastic watch.
Yeah, I'm putting that one up there with the Alabama Pulse from when they beat number 1 Alabama. To me, if you are not doing this after a game, you are celebrating wins wrong. Now, granted, some of our watchers and our listeners may not know what Instagram Live is, and that's okay. You go on this app called Instagram. If you don't know what it is, your kids have it. And follow the football team, and they will go live, and it's like you're FaceTiming them essentially, and you will get to watch them celebrate in the locker room. It is some of the funniest stuff ever. Armaje Reed-Adams was being hilarious. Will Lee was hilarious, and they showed a lot of that at the Pulse, dancing to Walk in Yo Trap, Take Over Yo Trap, which is what the kids are saying these days when you go on the road and win a big away game, something that A&M really did once last year at Florida. The year before that, didn't happen for him. The year before that, didn't happen for him. So always good to celebrate a road win. And not only did the players walk in that trap and take over that trap, the A&M fans did. That was one of the most maroon away crowds I've ever seen. Callie Garner and I were at the Auburn game last year, and I thought there were a ton of A&M fans there. But from the looks of it, there might have been 15,000 at South Bend. I thought the atmosphere was unbelievable.
I thought it was pretty crazy. I was watching that game, and the crowd pop after the touchdown was so shocking. The go-ahead touchdown. The crowd pop was insane because we're on the road. I didn't think... I knew that there were a bunch of Aggies there because I'd seen some tweets about it, like, oh, there's a bunch of Aggies in the Chicago airport. But I was like, I didn't really think there would be that many in the stadium. And then to hear, like, the crowd noise on the TV after that touchdown, it was almost louder than when they were playing defense for that play. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trip that a lot of people are going to remember for a long time. We got 2 more minutes here, and I got nothing else. So,
you want me to? I have a question because you brought up that Big Ten football game you went to.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is like the one state? What's the first stadium that you went to, college football stadium that you went to that was not Kyle Field?
Well, so
or if it was,
hold on. Now that I'm thinking
before
about
Kyle
it,
Field, then what was it?
So obviously I did not. It's well documented. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Someone's behind. I thought they just leaked the whole throwback uniform. They didn't. I apologize for the pause. I didn't grow up an A&M fan, but I think my first game might have been when Stephen McGee was the quarterback and they beat Texas at Kyle Field.
Wow, what a
great
one.
I don't think I went to a game before that because I grew up in New Jersey, so we would go to Jets games and Eagles games and Giants games. So I didn't really start going to college football games growing up in Dallas until like we would go visit people in Michigan, or we would go to A&M for like, not even because we were A&M fans, but just because my dad knew someone with tickets. So pretty crazy full circle. I told McGee when I first started working here that he was the first A&M quarterback I ever watched, and he said that made him feel old.
Yeah, he was the first A&M quarterback I ever watched as well. I'll quickly go with mine. The first place that I went that was not Kyle Field was Folsom in Boulder. I think it was actually an A&M Colorado game, but it was so cold at that stadium, so cold, like below freezing for that game. I don't even think I watched most of it. I think I was warming up my feet like for most of the game. Like, no, this was like when we just moved up there. We're not familiar with the idea of wool socks yet and how beneficial that may be for when the temperatures are that cold. But yeah.
Yeah, Cade, I appreciate that answer. I need to get up to Folsom Field one of these days. And thank you to everyone who watched the B team. I guess I am the C team because I'm the only one here closing it out. And I am not of the usual broadcast. It is normally Cade Bickham, Nick Savage behind the glass, and Ryan Brauninger and Richard Zane up here. But it was a pleasure for y'all to spend your Thursday here. And we got to break some news. We got to look at some new uniforms. We got to break Bucky McMillan's first high school recruit in the class of 2026, Nico Mundy. Never forget where you were when you learned who Nico Mundy was. And I hope you all have a blessed weekend and take care of yourself for this bye week. Go lounge on the couch, eat some wings, and rest up because A&M hosts Auburn next week. See y'all later.